It's time to get this convoy on the road. We have a log train to deliver. I'm just gonna take a detour around those two giant mud holes. It took it a minute to get moving. This looks pretty tippy. It's digging in. No wonder I forgot to start the other truck. We made it pretty far like that. It gets around a whole lot better when the other truck is helping. We have a tight turn coming up. We'll have to take it one at a time. I'm just going to drop the AE here and go on up the road a little ways. This little section of road isn't very good for towing. There's a giant mud hole at the bottom of it too. Our drop-off point just popped up. We're pretty close. That little yellow arrow, that's our closest one. I guess that other one won't pop up until after we get down past the gas station. It's struggling to get traction here. I need to take a look at the map. We're taking a shortcut across the water right there somewhere. We convoyed most of the way here. I guess we could have convoyed all the way down to this bridge if it weren't for the trees and rocks. Here's our exit. This mud hole shouldn't be too bad. I have a lot of trees to winch to if I need it. We've almost used a half of a tank of fuel already. It's struggling. We're coming up on the river crossing. It don't look very deep at all. This was a whole lot better than going through that swamp on the other side. I'm going to look on the map and see exactly how close we are. I could turn right here, but it's probably too tight. We'll just go straight and circle around. This thing has used a whole lot of fuel. It's all in a whole lot of weight too, though. And all of this is going to be firewood. I'd hate to be the one to have to split all of this. This road has some deep trenches in it. This is where we would have came in at if we would have came around the other way. We might have ran out of fuel going that way though. This is very tippy looking. It looks like we made it. Here you go, Bill. Good luck splitting all of that. Now we have to take this one just a little bit farther. It's too squirrely in auto. I'm gonna gear it down. Let's see how well this one can get through that deep mud. It's having a hard time with it. It might take a little bit of winching to get loose from here. We'll just keep pulling it around until we pull it loose. I think we just about got it loose now. There it is. I guess it's safe to say the Voron D1 on this event. It went through that mud hole a whole lot quicker. It's getting dark on us. I'm going to change the time. We're going across the bridge this time. We'll go through the muddy area right before we get to the railway station. Then we'll cut behind the railway station and go down to the tracks. I hope we don't have any trouble crossing the tracks, but that's the chance we're going to take. Worst case scenario, we'll bring the log train out to the International Paystar. But we will be crossing the river with this. We'll be crossing at the same place where we had to bring some cabins a while back. It's a pretty sketchy spot to cross, but I think we can do it. These big rocks in here are giving us all kinds of trouble, but at least we got stuff to winch to. If we didn't have anything to winch to, we'd be in a mess. We're on solid ground now. Well, semi-solid. We just got to go around the outside of all these boulders. This side ain't as bad as the other side. If you was to take a right here, that's where we dropped off that last load at. But it's really swampy. It takes forever to get through it. Whenever we get up this steep, muddy hill, we'll be out of the mud. We'll be out of it for a little while anyways. There's a trailer store right up here. I could just stop and get a fuel trailer and refuel, but I think we have enough to get to the gas station, as long as we don't mess up and get stuck or something. So I'm just gonna keep on rolling. We still have over a half of a tank. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that E-brake. I was gonna put it up in the high. We probably need to gear it back down. We're rock crawling. Oh my goodness, that's tippy looking. There's another road over here we're going to take before we cut over across the tracks. We can't just go straight up beside the tracks because the trees are too close up here and it won't fit. Here's our exit. Oh, that's tippy looking. I better gear it down. I shouldn't have stopped and lost my momentum, it looks like. I'm going to be using the winch. We've got movement. We got to do some rock crawling. We'll be taking a right here and then we'll be crossing the track. It really is leaning a lot. I think we can cross right here if we don't get hung up. It was struggling. If I was to try to turn left here, my trailer's going to get hung up. I'm sort of committed to going straight across. If I would have went down a little bit farther, I could have came across where I always come across at, but there's no way I'm going to be able to back this thing up. If it won't cross right here, I'm just going to have to call for help. It does look pretty rough on that other side. The front wheels are floating. If I can just get my rear axles up on the railroad tracks, I think I'll have it. It's pretty close right now. Just a little bit more and I'll be across. There we go. Whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna need backup for this. I'm just gonna skip the travel time. That was pretty fast travel time. I'm just gonna back this thing up to it and I'm gonna swap trucks and hook the winch to it and I'll turn it back on and let it pull me from the side. I should be able to get over this like that. This looks like a good angle. I took enough fuel out of that Paystar to get me to the fuel station. That should be able to keep me from tipping until I get this thing over the rocks. Here comes the crazy part. It's having a hard time finding traction. Just a little bit more. That was crazy looking. Oh my goodness, that was close. We have this one big rock to get over and we'll be out of here. We're beating up the fuel tank. We got it turtled on that big rock. We gotta grab a different tree. That should do it. Let's grab one more tree and we should be out of here. We're on the road again now, and we didn't even have to use the log crane. We only have 15 gallons of fuel left. We're really close to the fuel station though. I shifted into high too soon. It didn't have time to get the RPMs up enough. I could probably get it into high right here. I did that at the wrong time. We overshot our turn. That's a tight squeeze. We're topped off now. That should get us to the garage, and we'll get a fuel truck out there. That should be good enough. The rest of that road don't even show up on the map. We just have to find our way once we get there. We're putting this old truck through the ultimate test. I think we brought the right truck for the job though. We're gonna straighten this curve a little bit. I might be able to keep it in high through this swampy part because I have permanent diff lock. Nope, it stalled. We have one more patch of swamp coming up. This part has a lot of dead trees in it. It's struggling a little bit. We have plenty of dead trees to winch to. I'll have to break the one I'm winched to right now in order to get by. That was easy enough. Now we have to cross that extremely slick wooden bridge. At least we can cross it with locked differentials and we don't have to worry about them getting hot. This part probably won't even slow us down. I overestimated my traction. It didn't slow down much though. I didn't have to gear it down. This truck makes a great log truck. Whoa, that's tippy looking. I better watch the road. We're coming up on another deep mud hole. It's leaning a whole lot, but I believe I can get through here without a winch. It's struggling to get traction. Yeah, I'm gonna need a winch. Whenever I let go of this, I'm gonna have to turn into the fall to keep from tipping. That worked out. It's buried up to the axles. It's a struggle to get through this part. We should be getting pretty close to the garage by now. We're down to 32 gallons. We'll be leaving Goldhorse mining after this contract. They've been paying our bills for a while, but I guess they don't need us anymore. Our fleet of trucks have worked us out of a job. But it's time to move on to another region. A place where our magical luck and rookie skills are still needed. But we made a lot of money in the Yukon, and we bought a few decent trucks. We even got a few free ones, and tons of new upgrades. What I really gotta say is, the old Yukon and Goldhorse mining have both been really good to me. I'm sure in the future we'll all be coming back out here and hunting another upgrade somewhere, but other than that, we're gonna be moving on. We're already behind the garage and we still have 25 gallons left. Look at that big boulder in the road. I just don't think I could do without my low plus gear range. I'm gonna stop here and grab some fuel, but I'll cut most of it out. Like magic, I got the white Western Star. I'm just gonna hook to it and pull it a little ways because I might be needing it later when I get halfway up. I'm sitting right on the edge of that ditch. I'm gonna have to cut it over as soon as I pull off. I'm gonna try to pull this thing down a long windy road, and as soon as it gets hung up, I'm just gonna drop it and leave it. And then when I need it, I'll bring it up and cut that part out. You can hear the stovepipes on that white Western Star. This is going to be pretty tight. I think we made it. We can throw the coal to it now. That white Western Star is probably going to snag on one of these trees, but we'll just leave it. Yep, I think it snagged. Okay, now we probably sunk up in this swamp, but we have lots of stuff to winch to. We're dragging the axles. Mud probably wouldn't make a good substitute for axle grease. The old Voron AE is a tough truck. It's pretty awesome at rock crawling. I gotta say though, the Voron D beats it in the mud. It's okay if I have to use the winch a little bit extra in the mud. That rock crawling really counts. This thing can almost rock crawl as good as the International Paystar, and the International Paystar is a twin steer with 3 rear axles. This thing also uses a little bit less fuel than the Voron D, but when you're pulling a giant load like this, it's going to use a lot of fuel. we're going to be leaving a whole lot of resources on the map, mainly brick, because it was easier to go collect them from the warehouse than it was to go collect them from the wild. Stevenson's house is way out in the wild. Well, he should be pretty happy to see these logs rolling up. We're about to do some rock crawling with a double load of logs. I probably should gear down for this. This is some extreme rock crawling with a double load of logs. It looks good. We're just gonna have to use the winch. Oh, that was close. I might have hit that wrong. It's rattling that trailer around too. There ain't no road on the map here. We gotta turn right. Oh, I'm beating my truck up. Here comes some real rock crawling. This truck is a beast. I'm gonna take a look at the map. This is about to get exciting. We're about to scale a cliff edge beside the river. Mr. Stevenson probably don't get very many visitors. I'm not even gonna try to look back. This looks like it's gonna be pretty tight. Oh my goodness, that's crazy looking. It looks a little tippy. Goodness, that trailer was flopping. We're going on to thin ice. The road to Mr. Stevenson's house is over there to the left. I only have 36 gallons of fuel left, and I don't know how rough it's going to be. So I'm just going to pull over here and find some solid ground, and I'll bring that fuel tank up here, but I'll cut that part out. This should be good. Okay, we're topped off now. Let's change the time because we're running out of daylight. We're gonna have to drive onto the thin ice a little bit to get up on the road. I really didn't leave myself a whole lot of room to turn. Here we go onto the thin ice with a double load of logs. The ice is cracking. We made it across that part. The water must be pretty shallow on the edge of that because it didn't break through. Okay, it's time to gear it down and get it in. Mr. Stevenson is way out in the sticks, isn't he? We have to be getting pretty close. We're just gonna swing around here like a gorilla. We're getting some traction now. It looks like we reached the top of this little road, or at least a level spot. It's got broken up ice chunks in it. Our chains should do us pretty good here. I'm just gonna look at that map one more time. These roads don't show up on the map, but we don't have far to go. I think we have one more hump to go over. Maybe this was the last hump. Looks like it's just at the end of this little swampy area. It's not even getting the wood wet. It has a few ice chunks in it. We'll get better traction with these chains. Those dark places look like it could have been a road, but there's no way. That was a little tippy looking. We have some boulders in the road. I'm just going to glance at the map again. Okay, let's hit it. This is our last opportunity to do some rock crawling in the Yukon. Mr. Stevenson will be the last person that we meet in the Yukon. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to see these 2 loads of logs. Well, there's a giant fuel trailer. We might just fuel up on that thing. I'll just squeeze around it and use it for a guardrail. I'm just going to top off real quick since it's here. Right there's our drop-off point. This is Mr. Stevenson's driveway. We're dragging the fuel tank with us. This is a tough little truck. We'll be on another region in the next episode. Subscribe and hit the bell and you'll be the first to see it. We pulled that double load of logs from a long ways. I think I can see Mr. Stevenson right now on his porch dancing with a bottle of whiskey. Yes, Mr. Stevenson, I am leaving the Yukon. Contract completed. Looking after your own. We have supplied the wood on time, so no one will freeze in their own forest cabin.